Today is another great day for KARENisms, and I'm really glad to be here sharing with you. Now, last week we talked about smiling, and I told you that it's important that you acknowledge all of your emotions, and that, sometimes you're going to have a heavy heart, but you always have the choice to be happy or not to be happy. And it's okay to have a heavy heart. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be depressed, but choose happiness in the areas that you can choose happiness. Now, my book, I don't know that I have one sitting here. I don't. My book, Emotional Power. Yeah, now I got to grab one because it's going to drive me. Well, actually, I don't have any in this room. I gave my last one away that was in this room. Anyway, my book, Emotional Power, talks about the power behind emotions, but it talks about the logic behind emotions and the emotion behind logic. And this is really important that you understand that you can't have one without the other. And people often will say, but I have no control over my emotions. Well, see, your thoughts go through your amygdala, and your amygdala is your emotion center, and it's a little bitty, teeny tiny pinhead sized thing here in your brain. And as your thoughts go through the amygdala assigns the thoughts its emotion, its physical reaction, and all the things associated with that. So though you may not be able to control your emotions, you can control your thoughts. Therefore, your emotions are controlled. Also, as an interesting side note, opposite emotions often have the exact same physical response. Now, you think about it. When you are scared to death, maybe you're scared of public speaking or heights. Something like that. You're scared to death. Your throat gets tight. Your heart palpitates and it gets, going to come out of your chest. You get knots in your stomach. Your hands get sweaty. But when you're really excited about something and anticipating something great, what happens? Your throat gets a tickle and your heart palpitates and you get butterflies in your stomach, also known as knots, and your hands get sweaty. Opposite emotions, exact same physical reaction. So sometimes you can trick yourself in saying, hey, I'm having this physical reaction, therefore I must be having this emotion. Now, again, I don't want you to ignore your emotions. The best thing to do is to acknowledge your emotions and to face the emotions. And we have primary emotions, secondary emotions, and core emotions. Now, our core emotions really come down to two. And it's love. And most people say hate, but it's actually fear. Love and fear. But I hate that person. Yeah, aren't you really afraid somebody will believe them? Aren't you really afraid that what they're saying about you might be true? There's so many things there that comes down to fear. Now, there's healthy fear and unhealthy fear. And again, that's a whole nother topic for another day. But that being said, you have those primary emotions and everything else goes off of that. Those core emotions. Primary emotions, those are the ones we usually ignore, where if we focused on the primary emotions, we would be much healthier. And we wait until they fester and grow and get to the secondary emotions, which is where you get revenge and resentment and do those kinds of things. Now, anger can go in primary or secondary, and anger is not necessarily a bad thing. Anger is a good emotion if you use it to propel yourself forward. Mothers Against Drunk Drivers were angry. They were mad, Mothers Against Drunk Drivers. But think about all the good that's come from that. They used that anger as a motivator. Now, that doesn't mean live in anger. But you look at John Walsh, he was angry every week, and look at all of the lives that he saved. And so, use it as a motivator. When you use anger to propel yourself forward, it's healthy. When you use it to harm yourself or someone else, then it's not healthy. So any emotion that you have, I bring it down to, I call it RAPFU or RAFPU. RAFPU, say it right. And that is, you've got to recognize that you're having an emotion. Good, bad, ugly, indifferent, phenomenal, whatever it is. You got to recognize, you know what? I'm feeling something. And then you got to acknowledge, what is it that you're feeling? Am I sad? Am I depressed? Am I happy? Am I excited? Am I scared? Am I fearful? Am I whatever it is that you are? But acknowledge that emotion and then feel it fully. If you're angry, get a punching bag and punch it. If you're scared, go ahead and allow yourself to feel that fear and then analyze it, which is the next one. But feel that fear. Let yourself acknowledge that, you know what, this is frightening to me. And as you acknowledge that it's frightening to you and you feel that fear, it allows your body to say, okay, I have felt it. I can let it go, which takes us into the process. Now, I want to stop there for a second before we go to process. Feel it fully also includes happiness, excitement, joy, peace of mind, all of those things that are positive. Feel them fully as well. So feel the things that are, I hate to say negative and positive, but feel the things that are unfortunate, the things that make you sad or sorrowful or upset, and feel them fully. Because until you've allowed yourself to acknowledge it and feel it fully, you will not be able to let it go, which takes us to the P, which is process. Once you have recognized it, acknowledged it, felt it fully, now you can process that emotion. Now you're scared. Okay, what is it I'm scared of? I tell the story about spiders. I was freaking afraid of spiders. I would rather die in a pit of cobra snakes than be thrown in a pit of daddy longlegs, even though daddy longlegs can't hurt you. It just, dying of fear was not what I wanted to do. And I started to study spiders because I got a job where I had no option but to be around them. And so I studied spiders and I actually gained a healthy respect for them. I found out what spiders were poisonous and dangerous and how to deal with them. I found out what spiders were harmless. I looked at their webs and my goodness, they are the world's most talented architects imaginable. Those webs are beautiful if you really stop and look at them. And I got a healthy fear of spiders. I know which ones, again, that are poisonous and whatnot, and I know how to avoid them. I know how to get rid of them. And yes, I will kill you if you are in my home and are a bad spider. Well, I'll kill you if you're a spider near my home. I'll leave you alone in your home outside. You leave me alone in my home. We'll leave each other alone, but don't come into my house. That being said, I could process now that fear of spiders. And instead of being paralyzed by that fear, I can now move forward beyond that fear. And so you got to process it. You're sad, you're depressed. Be sad, be depressed, but then process it. Once you've felt it fully, what is it that's making me this sad? Are they my thoughts? If it's my thoughts, what am I thinking? And can I think something else? Is it the people I'm surrounding myself? If it's the people I'm surrounding myself with, do I need to surround myself with different people? Is it a chemical issue? Well, if it is, I need to figure that out and get the medical help that I need for that chemical issue. Okay, so you feel it fully and then you process it. What do I need to do with this? And then once you've processed it, now you use it or you diffuse it. You use it again to motivate yourself to action, to propel yourself forward. You defuse it by letting it go. And some emotions we can't let go. So then you got to use it. And you may have to go through the process again a couple of times to let it go. And if it's not something that you're willing to put up with, then you got to let it go. I had a great boss once, and we'll do a whole show on this. I got to write these shows down. I'm writing it down now. Great show. He would say, "Goy, Goe, get over Goi, get over it, Goy." Um, and if you can't get over it, then you have to learn to live with it. And if it's something you don't want to learn to live with, then you need to find a way to let it go. And that's where you don't wallow. You don't let yourself live in a place that is unhealthy and unhappy. And again, you may need to get outside help. And if that's the case, please, please, please do it. And it may be that you have to go back and watch the show on smiling, and maybe you have to put that pen between your teeth and force yourself to smile just until those endorphins kick in. But there's a lot of things that you can do, but do allow yourself to experience your emotions, and do RAFPU. Recognize the emotion that you're having, acknowledge the emotion, and you got to acknowledge the specific emotion. Feel it and feel it fully. If you need to sit in a corner and sob until, I call it the snotty sob, where your nose runs and you're crying, do it. Sob until you can let it go to a point of now processing. Process. And once you process, use it or diffuse it. Okay, well, that is the KARENism this week, RAFPU. And remember that everything will turn out right. It's my mom's quote. One of my mom's quotes. She says, everything will be all right in the end. If it's not all right, it's not the end. That being said, I love and adore all of you. Be sure and join me again next week for another KARENisms, Mondays at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time. And on Wednesdays, join us for Power Surge, where we have wonderful guests that help us to find the things that we can do to improve our lives and just adventures and their life's journey. And that again is Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time. And with that said, ciao for now. Thank you for watching this episode of KARENisms. If you found anything interesting, entertaining, or useful, please be sure and hit the like button. Now, to find out more about me, my coaching, events, or even resources, go to drkarenperkins.com. Again, that's Dr. Dr. Karen, Karen, Perkins, Perkins.com. And if you haven't already, subscribe.